Good evening, everybody. You guys can hear me?
Yes.
So I kind of insisted on that performance first before I come, right? So wherever I speak, I need an opening act. And thank you, Professor. So we got that. So that was part of the strategy. Well, so good afternoon, guys. It's 12 p.m. where I come from. That's the Middle East, you know. It's 12 in Dubai right now. So just to quickly introduce who I am, my name is Vineet Nambiar. I was born and raised in Qatar. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Gulf? This is not the Mexican Gulf, right? This is not the Gulf. This is the Persian Gulf, right? So these was Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Qatar, Saudi, you know. This is that part of the world, right? So I just want to make it clear because I don't want someone asking me, oh, I didn't know Mexico was up to all this, right? So this is why I just wanted to make that clear. So I'm from that part of the world, and we are a venture accelerator. We work with founders, entrepreneurs around the world, connecting them with our network of funds, investors, family offices in the region and beyond, right? So if we find a great opportunity, it could be a pizza place in Manila, I was telling early December, and we think it should go global, that's where we come in. And obviously, majority of the companies which we look at are tech and life sciences, but that's a bit about me. Now, going to a topic today, right? So, going global. 3 weeks back, I led a Gulf business delegation to Goa. We were signing an MOU with the Goa government, right? We have in fact, a foundation which is under the Goa government, basically to promote, business opportunities, entrepreneurship. So we were in this panel, so three of us. We have the industries minister here, that's me here, and we have the Vibrant Goa Foundation head there. And we were all introducing ourselves, and I was looking into the audience, and I found one member, looking very intently, listening very intently. I said, wow, looks like, she's enjoying what I have to say. 2 minutes later, I look and she's sleeping. Absolutely. I have that effect on people, right? Some doctors, they recommend my videos to people who have sleeping disorders. So I was like, right after the event, I walked up straight to her and said, I'd like to know more about you. I mean, was I that boring? And I said, no, Vineet. And she spoke about, I founded this organization called LOSD, and we're doing this amazing stuff. and I was like, wow. When I did a bit of research, it's like fabulous, the kind of upskilling. But she told me, I said, was I that boring? And it's not you, after you. So I don't want to comment, but yeah. So I was glad that she wasn't sleeping on mine. It was probably in the other comments. But she came back she took a long flight, from London all the way to Goa. And that was a lot for us, from my place to Goa was a challenge. So here I am 3 weeks later in Harvard. She said, Vinny, you got to be in Harvard. And we have something fantastic and you should come and talk and share what you just shared in Goa and maybe more. And I said, okay, here I am, 3 weeks, 14 hours flight later, another. Funny thing is, another 6 weeks later, we're again supposed to meet in Abu Dhabi. So we have our annual summit, which is focused on, international entrepreneurs who want to go global, and celebrating stories of that, and investors or family offices in the region. And why she's probably going to come there is because I'm not sure if you've heard about this. In the Gulf, we have an economic transformation that's underway, which has probably never been seen in the history of mankind. $3 trillion are going to be invested in the next 3 years, building those mega cities. So you probably have seen a little bit of that in the video, what's happening in Saudi, what's happening in the UAE. Our first casino is coming, woo, right? So after all those spiritual speaks, that's why they bring me in, the devil, right? So we have this, but that's the physical transformation, right? There's another side, the human transformation. I was talking to a very senior business leader just a few weeks back in Saudi and Riyadh, and they're saying in the next 2 years, they're going to upskill like 3 million people. Because we have a huge challenge. The local population needs to be upskilled to take up all those big jobs the economy is going to create. And this is uniquely a problem. Everywhere you go, you have overpopulation. We have an underpopulation challenge, right? So that's why you have a lot of expats in our part of the world. So that's when I said, what? LOSD, Mavericks, we can all sit down and probably create this great opportunity to address that. So it's a great business opportunity, and it's also a great social transformational opportunity, something which is unseen and unheard of, in such a short span of time. Now, why did this happen? She flew from London. Imagine if she had said, It's too tiring, I'm not coming to Goa. Imagine I'd said, I'm too tiring, I'm not coming to Boston. Imagine, again, we said, we're not going to Abu Dhabi in another long flight. We have been able to unlock opportunities because of that Go Global strategy. And Professor, a round of applause for her for what she's doing. She is a perfect example of what LOASD is going global, right? It's a mindset, right? That's a mindset, It's about saying, I'm ready to go global. A lot of people say, give a host of reasons, I'm too small. This is not about you're an SME or a large company. It's about going global. It's an attitude. You don't have to be the biggest company in the world. You just have, it doesn't matter the size or the scope of your organization. And there are two big misconceptions. I've told you the first point is about unlocking opportunities. But one of the big, I was in Hong Kong a few weeks back. I chaired the Hong Kong Middle East Chamber. And one Hong Kong guy said, Vineet, I am so flooded with, or I'm so inundated with my job in Hong Kong, there's no way I can think about expanding businesses. And that's the first misconception. It's not about expanding your business. You need to go global even to find new ideas, for new innovation, and to get to new partners and suppliers. Because otherwise you'll be irrelevant in your own markets. So to be competent in your own markets, you need to be global with those ideas and those capital. I'm coming to the capital part because I see some ice popping up. I'm coming to the capital part later. But the fact that you need ideas, because I'll tell you, 15 years back, how many of you heard of CES in Vegas? It's the biggest tech show, or used to be at least, in Vegas. It happens every year in Jan. I took that journey. It was, again, a leap of faith. That time, we didn't have direct flights. About 30 hours of flight, and I got to Vegas. It's Vegas, right? So anyway, you're going to have some fun. So we went to CES. Day 1, nothing. Day 2, nothing. I looked around for opportunities. Day 3, I ran right in the corner of the exhibition center. There was this company which was having these touch screens. They used to make a killing when there were jukeboxes in clubs. Then that died with the internet. So then they used to do it for malls. You have these touch screens with app, but malls were dying in America. And even the malls which existed didn't want to spend on, fancy touchscreens with interactive software. But where malls were really doing well? In my part of the world. In Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, in Doha, they were building hundreds of malls. It's not that we don't have the internet. It's just because, we love the physical shopping experience as well. And the drive is not much of an hassle. So what didn't look like an opportunity in Vegas or in America became a great opportunity in the Gulf. So long story short, we ended up working with them, and we were able to take advantage of the whole mall boom, which is still going on underway as Saudi's opening up. So sometimes what doesn't probably work in your local market, and you're probably kicking yourself and say, maybe something's wrong with me, it probably works in another market. Another reason why we should be going global. Next is capitals. A lot of people complain, I don't have the money, I don't have the investments. You got to raise capital. We have a fabulous entrepreneur here who raised this money, created those billion-dollar exits. Go ahead and do it. What's stopping you? It's a free market. There are less ideas, there are less good ideas changing capital than the other way around. And where we are hosting the next summit, Abu Dhabi is called the capital of capital. But we don't have entrepreneurs. We're looking at international entrepreneurs. We do have entrepreneurs, but we don't have a great quality and supply for entrepreneurs like we have in the US or in Asia. So we're looking at those kind of markets to bring them and see what we can scale. Not just in the Gulf, but using that as a launchpad to Africa and other parts. So another reason what we look is capital. So these are two misconceptions which people say, capital or I'm local. Even if you're local, we're looking at to participate in this booming economy. One of the other reasons I'm in Boston is the huge life sciences part of it. We're working this tremendous life sciences opportunity. So that's one thing. The last thing which I want to say is the strategy. Now, okay, you've decided you want to go global. How many of you are entrepreneurs here? Just curious. Wow, that's a lot of number. Okay, and how many of you want to be entrepreneurs? You're thinking about entrepreneurship, right? So I was just, joking a while back saying that in 10, 20 years, the way the world is going, every second person you see is either going to be an entrepreneur or is going to be part of an entrepreneurship venture, right? No one's happy with their jobs, or the jobs aren't making as money as they would want to. That's where the world is heading towards, right? So if you have made that decision to actually go global, the next big step is how do you do it? Strategy. Oh, we need, but these big companies, how do we compete with them? I'll tell you how I started my journey 20 years back. I started as an entrepreneur. We did multiple ventures, right? And when we started, it was a travel tech company. I found these two founders, amazing traveling software, right? They were, taking care of this client, but in a different market. I told them, hey, you know what? In the Gulf, we have a lot of expats and a lot of traveling happening. Maybe you should be in this market. But we understood there were these big giants from, from Asia, from Europe, from America, which were making travel software for travel agents. How are we going to compete? We hyper-focused on one niche area. Because as big companies were after the $100 million opportunities, we went after the small $10 million niche opportunity, which was building back office systems which were hyper-customized to the local culture. So there are a lot of things which people wanted to do, which the regular software wouldn't entertain because they were after the big $100 million deals. We hyper-focus. So if you're an entrepreneur looking to scale, find that niche and dominate that niche. If you have a coffee shop, I don't know, make a coffee product which only appeals to moms in between 30 and 40. And just hyper-focus on that demographic and build a venture around that. Finding your niche is so important when you think you're scaling. So that's the way how you even challenge the big daddies there, the big monopolies which are actually existing. So I'm not going to keep this long. Keep it down to these 3 points. The why is you need to figure out your why. Do you want to expand for local tech? Do you want to expand for finding new suppliers? Do you want to expand so that you can expand to find more customers, partners? Understand the why. It is so very important before you take out the journey. Find that why. Once you know your why, that's when you figure out how do you go about it, the strategy, and that defines itself. And that means sometimes taking those long journeys, traveling. Again, it may not pay off. You have to do a lot of searching. Sometimes it's just like dating, right? You got to keep checking. There'll be a lot of disappointments you will have, but eventually you got to trust the process. It will happen. There will be a lot of pain in the process, and that's the way how it is. Thank you very much, guys, and happy to chat more after this. Thank you.